Welcome back to another episode of the House Husband Diaries. As always, I am your host, Carter C., and today we are talking about my gear loadout for my first ever section hike of the Appalachian Trail. It was the AT Approach Trail from Amicalola Falls State Park to Springer Mountain, and then the next morning we camped at the Springer Mountain Shelter. And then the next morning to get the muscles going, because it was February of 2021 and it was super cold, below freezing, probably wind chill in the single digits is my guess. And the next morning to get the blood flowing, we hiked down to the Springer Mountain parking area, about a mile or so off of the summit, and then back up, broke camp, came back. So, as I said in previous videos, I am a complete hiking newbie. Just total, not a backpacker. I'm not a hiker, not a camper. I spent my high school and college years playing indoor sports, and then I spent my 20s and 30s not camping and hiking. And so to go out on a mountaintop, even in the South, even in Georgia, I know some of y'all from up north are like, that was Georgia, it's in the South, it's not that bad. But I'm telling you, like in the mountains, it gets hairy, and so I'm not gonna say I was underprepared, but I'll let you make your own decision when you get through with this video. Just after you hear what I took on my first ever overnight hiking trip that started this desire to want to section hike the entire Appalachian Trail. Before I do that, I'll say this. So I got this awesome AT coffee mug. So I guess they do this for right-handed people. So if you're right-handed, then you get to look at the logo or whatever. Whoops, that they put on the mug. So you're like, oh, I'm right-handed, and I get to look at this wonderful Appalachian Trail logo. But if you're left-handed like me, and you go, hey, I don't see anything. It's just a blank, nice blue mug, except for you, the viewers, get to see the wonderful AT logo. That would be Costa Rican coffee. Maybe one day I'll share all the different coffees that I drink, but that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is the gear loadout for my first ever hike on the Appalachian Trail. That being said, I got to get a new Patagonia hat. This one, this was my second Patagonia hat, and the first one, probably looks better than this one. I've worn this one too much. This one went on the trail, my last trip. Anywho, let's start with the items I do not have. I do not have my buddy. So I use my buddy's REI Half Dome 2-person 3-season tent. Exactly. We camped in February, which is the middle of winter, which is the 4th season in a 3-season tent. It's a terrible idea. My buddy lent me his supposed 0-degree sleeping bag. I have no idea who made it. I do know that it took up almost my entire bag. It weighed 5+ pounds. I mean, it was a monster of a bag. So was it 0-degree? I don't know. I was comfortable. And then I also had to borrow my buddy's old, I'm gonna say original Thermarest, like a air foam air sleeping pad. Weighed like 3.5 pounds. Things was huge. I didn't have any gear. All I had was this. Okay. I'm gonna grab this here. This doesn't even fit where I have the camera right now. But this is my old LL Bean I think it's probably like a 70-liter backpack. Let's see if we can get it in the front. I didn't do a good job of this, but that's all right. We'll figure it out. But you see that? Can we go there? LL Bean. It's got this nice pocket in the front. It had some nice pockets on the side. It's got this huge bottom part. You could put a sleeping bag in down here. So I think it was probably a 70-liter. Talked to a lady at REI after this first trip, and she said she worked for LL Bean back in 2005. So I bought that backpack 16 years ago to go to Costa Rica. It's my first solo international trip, well, without adults. And I took a buddy of mine from college, and we just flew down. But I bought this backpack and the plane tickets, and just all within like 24 hours of each other, and just took off to Costa Rica. And I haven't really used that backpack much other than a few international trips. And yeah, so I just grabbed that backpack and threw as much as it would fit, basically. And so that backpack weighs about 7.5 pounds, a little old. And so I had that backpack, and then I borrowed. My buddy and I took the weight out of each. So he had his own sleeping bag, and he let me borrow the heavier, lower rated, whatever, warmer sleeping bag, and then the tent. And then I will tell you that I also brought. So here's what I'm getting away from a microphone. So then I wore these North Face shoes. So these are old school. I didn't look up exactly when, but some of the treads kind of done. These North Face kind of hiking shoes. 3, 4, 5 years old. I don't know how old they were, but they weigh a ton. They're big old heavy clunkers. And I'm not sponsored, but I brought this normal North Face. I bought it for like $50 on sale. Rain jacket. Bought it for like $50 at Dick's. Big old heavy. It's not a hiking, camping rain jacket by any stretch of the means. Let's see. What else did I have? Let's do this. I had some old Nike running gloves. Old. Like these are probably 15 years old. From back when I used to run, when I was a young buck. I had these awesome, I think they're Carhartt wool socks. I brought 3 pairs of these. Just FYI, that was a one-night trip. That is a hike in, spend the night, hike out. That was 1 pair of socks for the hike in, 1 pair of dry, warm socks for the night, and a clean pair of warm, dry socks for the hike out. That's right, 3 pairs of socks, one night. And a nice North Face wool beanie. Where I'm from, we call it a toboggan. I don't need any of you northerners telling me that that's a sled. I know. But I just like calling it a toboggan. Then I brought a nice, wonderful, long sleeve cotton t-shirt. I get the saying, people, you hiking folks, cotton kills. I know. But I brought what I had. It's my first ever hiking trip. I also brought a wonderful pair of Under Armour cotton jogging pants to sleep in. That's right. Well, I was decked out in cotton. Brought a flannel chamois. If anybody can explain to me why they call this chamois, but this nice flannel long sleeve. Man, this thing, I'm telling you, I got a couple of these. I'm sure if you're from the north, you already know. But this cuts the wind. It's warm. Oh man, these things are awesome. But they also weigh 42 pounds. Right? Are you get so? Let me explain this before I keep going on with what I brought for this one overnight backpacking trip. I brought three three full sets of clothing. I was gonna say outfits, but that sounded a little bit too girlish. And but yeah, I brought three sets of clothing. I brought three entire outfits for one night of camping. Some people call that glamping. I call that the necessities. I didn't know. I just wanted to be warm. Warm. I thought, being a novice, I know I can carry more weight than I need, and I'd rather have and not need than not have and need. Which I think was smart. So you can laugh at me for carrying all of this. Later, we'll both laugh, right? One smart thing I brought was this dry fit, long sleeve, real thin base layer, I guess, you know. So that was good. It was hiking. And then I brought this lovely Patagonia thing. It's hooded, long sleeve. I wear this as a base layer when I go skiing, or not a base layer. I wear that dry fit tight thing as a base layer, but this goes underneath my ski jacket. But it's got a nice hood, and I don't know what it's called from Patagonia, but it's phenomenal. It's really warm. But it doesn't cut the wind, and so that's kind of the negative. But that was great. And then I brought these flannel lined Wranglers. They're sort of like Carhartts, but they're Wranglers. They were on sale. I got them for like $20 a piece, $25. I got like two pair. Those were for at camp. So once we hiked, so I had all of that in my backpack, and then I wore. I'm not sure if I brought this, but this is an old Nike kind of dry fit, kind of layer. And then these are the pants that I wore, like hiking. I don't even know who makes them. Columbia, nice dry, thin hiking pant that zips off. So if you want shorts, so that's what I hiked in. Then I brought a nice Eddie Bauer vest, lightweight vest, but that was nice. And I think that's all the clothes that I brought. Was that a long enough list of the clothes to bring? Yeah, I think so. So I think that was probably enough clothes. That was more clothes than most people bring on an actual AT through hike. But at the time, I did not know what to bring. I didn't have hiking specific clothing, gear. I just looked in my closet. I knew it was going to be cold, and I said, "Hey, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring what I have, and we're going to go." The one thing that I did go by, because I didn't know what we were going to be doing, but I thought, if we're hiking and we're camping, I would need a hatchet. You know what I'm saying? So I went to Walmart, and I got this sweet hatchet, Ozark Trail. It's got some paracord handle, yeah. So I brought a hatchet so we could build a fire. I could cut wood. Yeah, I haven't brought that since. But that first hike, I really wasn't sure what I needed, and I think it's important to share with you, the community, whether you're the House Husband Diaries community, Forest Fen community, or if you're just watching this because you're a hiker and you said, hey, here's somebody new talking about gear reviews and stuff. This is a complete novice, spur of the moment, being invited on a one night hiking backpacking trip in February up to Springer Mountain, Georgia, having no idea, no gear, no nothing. I brought everything I could possibly put into my backpack so that I would be warm. And I will tell you this, laugh all you want. I know that I brought way too much stuff for a normal hiking trip, but for a February, when a cold front came in that night and it got exceedingly cold, the wind was not supposed to come in until later in the morning, mid-morning, when we were already supposed to be up and hiking off the mountain. The wind came in the middle of the night, probably 10, 11 o'clock, midnight, and the temperature dropped precipitously. And my buddy was freezing in his 15-degree rated bag. He's a cold sleeper. And I said, hey, I've got plenty of flannel. I've got plenty of stuff. I know we can argue whether or not that would work. We don't know if it would have helped him or not. I was like, hey, you can get in my sleeping bag. You know, like I mean, I don't want you to die up here. And but he really had a not fun night. And there were icicles all over the mountain the next morning. I mean, just frozen. It was a very, very cold night, and I will say that I slept as comfortably, I think, as someone can sleep in a 3-season tent in below freezing single-digit temperatures. So as silly as that gear loadout is, all of the clothing that I brought, it did do its job. The clothes were warm. And then I realized, and really kind of the culmination of that, and I'll say this in another video, but what I realized was that without any true knowledge or skills, you know, just a little bit of Boy Scout camping when I was 10, you know, 30 years ago, I could survive out a cold, freezing night, not multiple, but at least one, with just what I had. And that really inspired me to say, hey, you know, I could learn a little bit more about this, maybe get some newer, better equipment, and you know, make section hiking the Appalachian Trail a goal and something that I could accomplish over the next 5 to 7 to 10 years. So just in closing, that was my gear loadout for my first ever hiking, backpacking, camping trip on the approach trail for the Appalachian Trail. So thanks everybody for watching this episode of the House Husband Diaries. If you don't mind, hit the subscribe button. It would help me out a lot. And like this, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts. What was the gear that you brought on your first hiking trip? How much did you not know? And what have you learned in your hiking experience? Thanks so much for watching. See you on the next episode of the House Husband Diaries.